The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get.
He missed the complete. That is crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck. The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get.
He missed the complete. That is crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck. Hello and welcome to Homestead-Miami Speedway, where we are getting set for the Group D Oval Race in the 2015 World Cup of iRacing. Hi, I'm Samuel Ryman, and alongside me in the booth is Tanner Sharp. Behind the scenes is our director Giancarlo Lenzi, and our cameras are brought to you today by Dougie Beard. Shortly after this broadcast is over, the same four clubs that make up Group D, the Northwest, Canada, New York and the Carolinas, will be heading to the Suzuka circuit to race the DW12s in a race that will determine which clubs advance to the World Cup finale. The winning clubs in Groups A and B have already been determined, and they are UK and Ireland, and the Group C winner is to be announced, but it looks like it will be Finland. A fifth club will also get to advance as a best loser, if you will. In other words, a club that gets the most points but that is unable to win their group. Right now the club sitting in that wildcard catbird seat is Scandinavia, but we're going to have to wait for the Group C road course race to finish and the results to come through before we can confirm that. There are two splits going on right now, and this is a top split, and there will be a maximum of 20 cars in the race. We've got 4 groups, and I believe you can have up to 5 drivers from each group in each split. Don't quote me on that, honestly. I know there's a lot of technicalities going on here, but that's enough about the tournament setup. So let's talk about the track. Homestead-Miami Speedway usually plays the host to the finale of the NASCAR series in real life, and that being said, it's quite convenient that it's really at the final here of the World Cup today, Tanner, and we might find out by the end of it who is advancing and who is not.
Yeah, for sure. Homestead-Miami Speedway, 90 laps. It's a 1.5-mile racetrack with progressive banking. It used to be a flat track back in the early 2000s, but progressive banking to 18 to 20 degrees. The high groove and the middle groove are the preferred lanes here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway, so we'll have to see how the race plays out. There was a race earlier today that played out with a lot of green flag runs, as a lot of guys had the middle groove working.
Now 90 laps here, Tanner. These drivers are going to race with an open setup. Obviously there'll be a bit of fuel strategy come into play, but also with dynamic racetracks now and a fairly long race, they're going to have to worry about their lines and also their tyre wear as well.
Yes, definitely. You know, like we seen in the last race earlier today, there wasn't a lot of pit strategy going on because the cautions were coming out at the time of the green flag pit stops. So there wasn't a lot of a strategy going on there. Guys came in, got 4 tires, and filled up their tanks of fuel, and went out right out on the racetrack. So if we have a long green flag run today, some guys may play a fuel strategy and have 4 tires, but in my opinion, tires are going to be key when it comes to Homestead-Miami Speedway, especially with all the bumps that you're going through coming out of the turn 2 and entering turn 3.
So, everyone watching the race and trying to keep up to date with all the things going on, because it is going to be a bit complicated, feel free to talk to us during the race on YouTube or on Twitter at GSR Channel or Facebook at facebook.com/Global Sim Racing Channel during the race, and we will try our best to get your questions answered on air, although there's no guarantee on that considering how wild these races could be. Now, they have just finished up a 5-minute practice session here, And I can confirm to you that we currently have, it looks like 18 drivers in the session. And of those 18 drivers, we've got 4 from New York. I'm sorry, let's get up to date here. There we are. 5 from the Northwest, 5 from New York. My apologies. So actually 6 from New York. And 2 from the Carolina and 4 from Canada. So New York have came out with a presence here.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the more the better, as they say. But you never know with the open setups that they're running today here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Some of them might have good setups. Some of them may have a long run setup, not a short run setup, as we did see earlier today with the mid group guys. But I think the setups and the tire wear is really going to come into play. I mean, sure, you got a lot of guys, teammates out there on the racetrack, but it doesn't always necessarily mean they're going to finish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Alright, so currently every driver is on the track on their own and they're doing 2 laps of qualifying. We're watching the number 7 of Eric Gaudreault-Drapeau here. He is a Canadian, I'm going to guess one of the French Canadians, which means I may mispronounce his name more than once during the broadcast. But he is currently working his way through turns 3 and 4. And this track looks so simple, Tanner. There's a whole lot of bank in there, and you've got wide open straights. It looks like it's an easy track to tackle, but that's far from the case.
Oh, it's definitely far from the case there, Sam. I mean, Homestead-Miami Speedway, it's progressive banking, yes, but the car gets so tight coming off the corner if you decide to run the bottom of the racetrack. So a lot of the guys, they prefer the middle groove, the high lane to get all their grip at. They kind of run it kind of like a Darlington race. Run up by the wall and they get that good run off the corner off the high side.
Speaking of the high side, you see the car on screen using that as he comes across the finish line there, and that is the number 07, I believe I read that correct. That's the number 01 of Jason Van Cleek. There you see, he is a driver from New York. Thanks to our GSRC graphics there. That's our director, Giancarlo Lenzi, helping us and helping you out with keeping up to date. And you can see that these are the Xfinity series cars of Chevrolet Camaros and the Ford Mustangs. And they drive a bit differently to the Cup cars and to the truck cars, Tanner. And how do you think how these cars drive is going to affect the racing that we're going to see here?
Well, when you're driving the Generation 6, which is the NASCAR Cup cars, Sprint Cup cars, they have more horsepower to it, so they have a little more handling to the race car. But when you come into lower horsepower, the handling, there's still handling involved, yes, but with lower horsepower, it's easier to control. But with the NASCAR Xfinity cars as they are driving today, they're easier to handle. But when you're driving open setups, actually when you're even driving a fixed setup on a longer run, these cars can get really loose.
Now every driver is able to turn 2 qualifying laps, but this qualifying session will last for 10 minutes. You can see we're only 3 minutes into it right now, so we still have 7 minutes until the green flag flies. And let's talk about a few of the names here, Tanner, because I recognize a few of them from other series that we have called in the past. Carl Burke is there, Drew Lalonde is there, Alex Bergeron was in the ASRS race the other day, but the driver currently leading the qualifying session is the number 47 of Fernando Cardoso.
Yeah, there's a couple guys in here I also recognize myself who I have raced in the NASCAR iRacing official sessions that iRacing has. The number 94, Tal LaMountain, and I believe number 123, Jacob Klein. Those guys I definitely recognize. Everybody else I'm not too sure, but I'm sure all these guys, and especially the 2 drivers that I named off, they all have talent. They're all good drivers. There's a lot of talent in this field for sure.
Let's complete my manufacturer shout out. We also do have Toyotas in this car as well, the Toyota Camry, so along with the Chevy Camaro and the Ford Mustang. So, done my little sponsor obligation for them there. As we watch a couple cars wrap up their qualifying times, we still have a few drivers yet to turn a lap. Jacob Klein, Tal LaMountain, Phil Cook, Ray Partridge, and I wish I could tell you how they all fared in practice, but honestly, no one. It doesn't look like anyone turned a lap in practice. So these drivers could be, for a lot of them, their first time racing each other. They're gonna be as confused as we are, to put it mildly, when this race starts, Tanner. Who are the fast guys? Who do I need to watch out for? Who's gonna race aggressive? There's gonna be a lot that these drivers have to learn about each other within the next 90 laps.
Man, I'm looking at Fernando Cardoso. Man, I mean, he's got a 10th over the field in qualifying. If I had to pick a winner, Fernando, he'd be my pick. He's got a 10th over these guys, and still holding up the top spot. Other guys I'm currently looking at are pretty much the guys in the top 5 here. You got Mark Walls, Jake Nichols. Some guys in the back here that have qualify times, but I'm really curious of the guys that I know, like Jacob Klein. I'm real curious on how they're going to do it. What's their strategy to get up towards the front?
Well, we just saw another driver go up to the top there on screen, and that is the number 73 of Jack Nichols, has just jumped up into the 3rd position. And now I believe he's spinning it down pit road. That's another thing about the Homestead-Miami Speedway. You have to enter pit road coming into turn 3, and sometimes it's very easy for the drivers to overshoot that, come back up on the race circuit, and that has had a history of causing ugly incidents. So let's go back to our top 2 drivers, Fernando Cardoso and Mark Waltz. And Fernando Cardoso is from the Canada Club, and Mark Waltz is from the Northwest Club. So they'll be starting up front, it looks like, although we still have a couple of cars left to turn laps. And, I mean, this is a World Cup, Tanner, and me and you, we both live on this world. And funnily enough, we live in parts of this world that's represented in that race. So let's get this bias out the way right now. I am currently living in the Carolinas. I know you can tell by my accent, so I will be keeping an eye over those guys today. And I believe, Tanner, you also have a bit of an affiliation here.
Yeah, I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Wisconsin, the cold state of Wisconsin. So I'll be cheering on for my Midwest drivers, or Northwest, excuse me.
Yeah, Ray Partridge and Malcolm Walker are 2 drivers that have just joined the server, so a couple new names there. Ray Partridge from the Northwest. Actually, he may have been in the server a little while, but he hasn't turned a lap yet. And then the second driver, Malcolm Walker, is another Canadian. So the Canada and the New York clubs being well represented here, as is the Northwest. Carolina really just depending on 2 cars right now, which was a bit confusing considering the fact that Carolina's kind of known as the home of oval racing. But they just have Jake Nichols and Michael Tant out here. However, Jake Nichols is 3rd in qualifying, whereas Michael Tant is actually back down there in 14th. That being said, he's only 7/10 off of a pole lap. We do have close times here.
Oh yeah, definitely close times across the leaderboard from 1st to 17th. But you know, those guys are teammates, so maybe they can discuss. Hey man, what are you doing? That I'm not doing. So maybe they can help share a little information towards each other to help Michael to get a little bit of a better qualifying time. But good qualifying lap for Jake Nichols. I ran earlier here this morning as just pretty much a test session, and the lowest I could get was a 31.9. And if I was in this session, that would put me towards about 15th position. So I'm not very fast with the setup that I have. But although that's a great time for a 31.332 for Jake Nichols.
And a 31.646 is what Ray Partridge just ran there. You were watching him in the number 81 car running in the Northwest Division. As now we have just 1 minute left to go in qualifying. I see Malcolm Walker is out there on the circuit, a late joiner to the session in the number 27 car. And he has already put down the time. He's about to put down the second time. He currently sits 11th, goes across the line, and fails to improve. In fact, was 3/10 slower on his second lap. We just got another driver connect here, Wayne Hutchinson. I believe I've heard his name in the past.
Yeah, I've heard his name in the past too, but I just can't remember where I heard him from, or I could have just raced with him in the NASCAR iRacing official sessions that they usually have running every day. But yeah, Wayne Hutchison, I believe he's a good, talented driver for sure.
You know, we might be calling out a spectator there. Unfortunately, because I don't see his name showing up in the driver list. Well, great to know that we got some spectators in this World Cup because it is a big deal here on iRacing. And yeah, qualifying has just finished up here. So my apologies to Wayne for giving him a bit of publicity. I'm sure you're a great driver there, Wayne. All right, anyhow. The base car has gridded up on pit road and the cars are gridding up behind him. So let's talk about how they're going to grid up, and that is with Fernando Cardoso on the pole position with a 1/10 of a second over Mark Waltz, Jake Nichols and Eric Gaudreau-Drapeau is going to be starting in 4th place, and I will try and pronounce your name correctly some point before the end of this broadcast. Alex Bergeron is starting in 5th place, and Nathan Weatherby it will be rounding out the 3rd row there, Tanner.
Starting off in the 7th position, number 4, Brian Barnes. In the 8th position, number 3, Seth Whitaker. Starting in 9th place is the number 81 car of Ray Partridge, and in 10th place, Drew Ladandi, pardon me if I got the name incorrect. In 11th place, Malcolm Walker will start 11th, and in 12th place is Chris Beck in the number 34 car.
Cedric Hunter has a lucky number 13, and he will be starting from 13th position alongside Cole Burke in 14th place. Phil Cook will be on the 8th row of the grid alongside Michael Tant, and then Kyle Young will be lining up alongside Jason Van Cleek. They were the last 2 drivers who set times, and the field is covered by 1.3 seconds. 2 drivers who did not set times that will be starting from the back of the field in positions 19 and 20 are Jacob Klein and Tyler Mountain. Now, when the pace car rolls off of pit road, because the pace car is gridding up the field on pit road, the drivers do have the option to sit in their pit stall and drop to the back if they don't feel comfortable starting in the middle of the field. So it will be interesting to see if anyone takes that option. But don't go away from your screens just yet, because we will only have 1 pace lap here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, and then Cardoso will be leading them to the green flag.
Yeah, definitely. Some guys could pull off right now to go start in their pit boxes, but I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know if they're gonna do that. I could be wrong about that, but I think some guys want to test their setup to see how it is at the first part of the race, just to see how the car feels on the racetrack. I understand that there are marbles on this racetrack, so if a caution does come out, that those marbles will be left on the racetrack. So they got to be real careful when they take the green flag and all of a sudden they jump to the high lane to try to get a run. But with the marbles on the racetrack, you don't want to go through marbles whatsoever.
There is a time limit on this race of 1 hour and 45 minutes. Hopefully we shouldn't reach that. Conditions are not ideal. The track temperature is 104 degrees Fahrenheit and there's a strong easterly wind at 14 miles an hour. However, even if the drivers do get involved in incidents, they don't have to worry too much because there's no incident limit on this race, so you could bring out every caution of a race and not be disqualified, although granted there will be a lot of people not too happy with you. The Ford Mustang pace car is turning off as they come out of turn 4, and Fernando Cardoso is already on the loud pedal, and we are underway for 90 laps here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, the Group D oval race of the 2015 iRacing World Cup.
So far, side-by-side battle for second place there, and more side-by-side battle.
There you see the number 12 car of Alex Bergeron looking down the inside of the number 73 car of Drake Nichols as they go into turns 3 and 4 for the first time. But it is going to be Cardoso leading them across the line, and as these two battle, he's able to pull out a bit of a gap.
A little bit. He had a great start of the race. I mean, I've seen that earlier today, and once that leader goes, he is just gone. So hopefully, if we get a good green flag run here, we'll see if the Jake Nichols or Alex Bergeron could catch the leader to catch the leader in a longer run. So right now we're on a short run, but we'll see what happens in a long run.
Well, currently we have Cardoso leading the field. He is from Canada. Drake Nichols in second, representing the Carolinas. Canada in positions 3 and 4 with Alex Bergeron and there in 4th place, although we do have this battle for 2nd raining on right now, and a couple of battles back in the field. A lot of drivers trying to get all they can in the early stages here as they currently work their way around the 3rd lap of this 90-lap race. Here we go, we're looking at another Canadian, Cedric Hunter, on the number 13. He started 13th and is he battling for 10th place here. I think he just passed... No, he's still in 11th, so it's Ray Partridge in front of him in 10th place. We're looking back at Chris Beck in 12th.
Yeah, trying to get that high side going. Like I said before, that very high lane has some marbles on it from my understanding. But right now he's sticking with the 81 car, Ray Partridge. Pretty good at the moment. But that low line, man, I'm telling you, that's not the preferred lane. But I have seen it get work before.
Battle for 2nd continues with Drake Nichols still holding off Alex Bergeron. This time Bergeron gonna look down to the inside in turns 1 and 2 as they're working the 5th lap. He doesn't have a marbles down there, so maybe he'll be able to find a little bit more grip. He gets through the centre of the turn well, but will he lose out on exit? Obviously Drake Nichols doesn't have a wheel wound up as much, and they're side by side as they're going to turns 3 and 4.
Boy, we were talking earlier on how challenging this racetrack can be. It can. We just seen Jake Nichols there, I believe, Jake Nichols, or no, Alex Berger there, get the bottom lane working. So right now the bottom lane it's working pretty good at the moment. So, and right now they're riding the middle groove, which is pretty much the preferred lane, but it's just so hard to pass here without shoving the guy out of the way or giving the old bumper to him, the crown horns, if you want to call it that way. But very challenging racetrack.
All 20 cars that started the race are still in the race and still on the lead lap. We see Bergeron slipping and sliding around, but that time around he ran just a couple hundredths faster than Cardoso, but that shows he's got the pace to challenge for the top spot, and he's already been able to make a pass as we see one car back there in about 7th position getting very close to the turn 2 wall.
Yeah, I've seen a couple guys already get into the wall, but yeah, with the 104-degree track temperature, it is slick out there, man. It's just real slick, and it causes the cars to slide around a lot. It's definitely painful on the longer run, too.
Yeah, that may have been Ryan Barnes who we're watching right now. He's definitely the driver running in 7th place, and he's definitely getting close to the turn 2 wall on this side, so I'm going to guess my prediction on the first lap was correct. But he's actually got a pretty good run on the number 25 car here of Nathan Weatherby. He didn't look for 6th position yet, but I have a feeling it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, I almost see contact in the back here for 9th place between Drew Ladani and Cedric Hunter. Almost contact, but they were able to stay off each other. It still raced clean. Right now they are single file. It's like Drew Lalonde is under attack going turn 3.
Oh, yeah, Barnes just got a piece of the wall going there into turn 3. So, even though we're clean and green, some drivers, their paint schemes might look a little bit different. Fortunately, it looks like Barnes got away without too much contact. I think he's just running so close to this pack in front that he might actually be losing the air on the front end. Could be hurting him.
The draft, could play a bit an effect as well. When you're tucked up behind somebody, you get a draft here. There's a little draft here, so it could cause the car to wash up the racetrack too. Aerodynamics is huge when it comes to the 1.5 mile racetracks, but sometimes if you just kiss the wall a little bit, it could be only like 10 seconds of crew work damage to fix. So right now it looks pretty minor.
Yeah, this is cleaner than some league races we've been commentating to recently, but they have been clean and green for the first 10 laps. We're already 1/9 of the way through this race. You see the battle for 4th going on here between Eric and the number 97 car representing Canada, and Mark Waltz, who we ride on board in the number 18 car, also with that Northwest paint scheme. The Northwest have done a good job of getting most of their cars the same colour here. To make them easy for us to spot and easy for them to keep track of another. I'm sure if you see another car that looks exactly like yours in front of you, you know not to bump it.
Yeah, I mean, it's early stages of a race right now, so they probably would just race each other cleanly and fairly. But when it comes down to crunch time, I'm sure they'll try to race side by side cleanly, obviously, but I'm sure they'll try to get after each other towards the end of the race.
And there you see that change for fourth go, and that is your highest placed Northwest driver right now, Mark Waltz. It is Canada, Carolina, Northwest, and Canada in the top 5. The first New York driver is Nathan Weatherby in 6th place, and the first driver, actually that's all the clubs right there. So every club has one driver running up there in the top 6 early on, but we say early on because there's going to be a lot changed before the checkered flag falls on this one. And you can see something changing right here. Battle for 9th continues between Cedric Hunter and Drew Lalonde, and they get quite close there out of turn 4.
Yeah, a couple times in this race they almost made contact, but so far they're just keeping it clean. And with all this, with those two guys battling, that's allowing Ray Partridge to gain on them.
And the drive in front of him in 8th position, Seth Whitaker, got very close to the wall in turns 1 and 2. It seems that you risk, if you decide to run the high line around here, Tanner, maybe it's because of the wind, but you almost risk hitting the wall over there if you overshoot the turn a little bit. I think Seth Whitaker maybe went in to turn 1 a bit too hot last time.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to get overly aggressive with your cars, especially with open setups. I mean, with the wind that's playing around today here at Homestead, it can upset that car. So there's really no way to fix that. But as long as you just run your race and keep focused on what you're doing, you should be okay.
See a battle between two Northwest cars right there, and they're keeping it clean. Number 34 of Chris Beck ahead of the number 16 of Carl Berg. Oh, that's a commentator's nightmare right there, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely a couple of Northwest guys battling the back of the pack here with Malcolm Walker coming up right beside him. Oh, look towards the inside, but not quite there. He may look going into turn 3 right here.
Leaders, meanwhile, coming around to complete the 16th of 90 laps. Fernando Cardoso has pulled out a bit of a gap over Alex Bergeron, who's holding steady to Jake Nichols in 3rd, who actually has a challenger from behind of Mark Waltz. We saw Waltz taking 4th place a little bit ago. He is continuing his charge to the front. He is trying to get that Northwest car up into the top 3.
Yeah, Mark Waltz, he actually qualified 2nd in this race, so he lost a couple of positions at the start, but he's gaining them all back with a great run so far.
And Jake Nichols may have got back on the gas pedal a little bit too early coming out of turn 4. He kind of slid up towards the wall, but he was still able to carry the momentum and beat Waltz off of the exit of the turn and retain the 3rd spot for now. And let's see if Waltz can make anything happen this time either. Side by side, drag racing down the backstretch here on the 18th lap. Going to turn 3 again. And I think Waltz has a faster car here. I don't know how hard Nichols really wants to fight this. And he ain't given up yet.
Track position just seems so key here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Right now they're battling pretty tough right here. In my opinion, the high line's the way to go, but man, Waltz is just getting that bottom working. Holy cow, he's probably the best I've seen to get the bottom working all night tonight.
Here they go again. Through turns 3 and 4, obviously Nichols is hoping that Waltz gets a little loose and that'll cause him to back off, but actually it's the Nichols who got a little bit loose on the exit of turn 4 that time, but he's still able to carry the momentum off, and this has got to be killing their lap times. Well, actually I'm checking out their lap times, they're not that bad. Man, the two different groups seem to be able to cooperate even when you're running side by side.
Man, if I was Alex Berger, I wouldn't feel pressure at all, but they have not pulled away from that 2nd place car at all, or they haven't really gained. And that's including with Eric sitting in the 5th position. He has not really gained. He hasn't really lost. These two cars battling.
So, Mark Waltz finally was able to complete the pass that time by, and after 20 out of 90 laps, he has rebounded his way back up into third position, and I think now he might even start hunting Alex Bergeron down for second. What he really doesn't want is Drake Nichols to try and battle him for that third spot again, but Drake, I think, was thinking about it coming out of turn 2. This might not be over yet. I have a feeling Waltz is going to be wanting to get over the radio and say, hey, work with me here, let's run down the leaders, and Nichols is probably thinking, yeah, I'll work with you, providing I'm in front.
Believe it or not, they are catching Berger little by little right now. That last lap, they got closer. So with this single file racing that these two races are doing right now, it's certainly catching the second place car. And if they keep doing this, maybe they can work together, do a little draft and help, and catch the leaders. Because the leader is only about not even 2 seconds yet from these guys.
And these lap times are already about a second slower than what they were at the start of a race. So tyre wear definitely becoming a factor here early on. So that'll give you an indication that if a caution came out right now, we would probably see everyone down for 4 tyres. However, caution has not came out yet. All 20 drivers who started this race are still on the lead lap and still in the race. In fact, the driver in 20th place, who has been suffering from a little bit of connection issues, so maybe that's been causing him to just back off the throttle a little bit and not get too mixed up. And that is Jason Van Cleek, who you currently see on screen racing for the New York club. He started in 18th, the slowest of the cars that qualified, but he is still out there and really only half a lap back of Cardoso. So we definitely have a lot of great competition out there. And talking about competition, that is what Alex Bergeron has on his hands in second position right now.
Yeah, Alex Berger, the last time by, he almost, I don't know if he kissed her to what, but he was so close to the wall that Mark Waltz had to back off and just get side by side with him. Oh, he gets a run right there. Looks towards the inside, entering turn 1 here.
And Bergeron does not look like he's going to put up the fight that Nichols did, or maybe he will. He's going to get the run off the turn here, but it looks like Watts will have him cleared. So now the battle should be for third. Nichols is probably going to want to try and get by Bergeron. But the other big question is, can Waltz run down Cardoso? Because he has certainly shown that he's had the pace. But really, I don't think he's been turning laps faster than Cardoso, as Nichols gets up close to the wall and has a big moment coming off of turn 4, and that loses him a few car lengths.
Tremendous save by Jake Nichols, man. I bet when he was sitting in that cockpit, that was a scary moment for him, but great save by Jake Nichols.
Well, I hope he didn't have a bottle of water on his keyboard. And meanwhile, we're getting our first pit stop. Carl Burke has came into the pits. Now, do you think this could be scheduled?
It could very well be scheduled. I mean, it could be a part of a pit strategy. Pit early and gain some advantage on the leaders.
Yeah, this could be short pitting. We've been talking about how the drivers have been running a second slower than what they were at the start of a race. So Berg is in the pits. He's taken 4 tyres and he is about to rejoin the track. He'll be a lap down, but even then, that's not the end of the world because he'll be able to get a wave around. We have had some battles going on further in the back too. Currently for 16th position, there's a side-by-side battle between Michael Tant on the high side and Jacob Klein on the low side. So there's battles going on throughout the whole field, and I'm thinking the reason for that, Tan, is that really battling for position here doesn't seem to be slowing these guys down a whole lot, so why not?
Man, that's a very great question, Sam. I'm trying to figure that out myself. Usually when 2 cars battle side by side and are racing so hard, usually you have the guy behind you catching you or the leader is just pulling away. But for some reason, these guys are just sticking with the leaders even though when they're battling it out right here. But back on that topic with Carl Burke pitting, honestly, I think he may have pitted just a little bit too early, but who knows? Maybe we might be coming to our fuel window here soon.
We ride on board Michael Tant now, and you see a couple of drivers behind him. Yeah, it will be interesting to see how long all these drivers can go on fuel. I have a feeling we'll probably see a caution flag before the end of this one. We saw 3 cautions in the Group C oval race, I believe. And meanwhile, Jake Nichols has gone by Alex Bergeron for 4th. And Bergeron pushes high on exit. He hasn't given up on this fight.
Yeah, I was looking in the back of the pack, back at Michael Tan. He had some right side damage, so he must have got into the wall at some point during this race. But so far, great battle for third place here between Jake Nichols and Alex Berger, who has fallen back. He was currently running second place for a while, but it seems like his car has fallen off a little bit. But I have been watching also Mark Waltz. He has been catching the leader. It's down to a half second right now.
Now, I don't know what your experience is racing on this track here, Tanner, but Seth Whitaker just came into the pits to make a stop, but he overshot pit entry and went out on the grass. Will he get a penalty for doing that?
I think so. I'm not quite. Usually here on iRacing, you have to use the pathways no matter what. Otherwise, iRacing black flags you automatically. So for a pit entry safe in or pit safe exit. So he might get a penalty right here. We'll just have to keep an eye on Seth Whitaker here.
I think he's actually already served it. It looked like after he'd had his 4-tire change, he was still on the tracks for several seconds. So I have a feeling maybe they added a time penalty to his pit stop. Hopefully that's the case, and Seth Whitaker will be able to get back out there a lap down, and he's still got a lot of work to do if he wants to get back in it. But meanwhile, we finally have this battle for the lead. No, we don't, because Fernando Cardoso comes into the pits. And that hands the top spot over to Mark Waltz. So, Cardoso able to keep it on the grey stuff on pit entry, and hopefully he'll get woed up here without spinning the rear tyres on the rear brakes. And as long as he doesn't overshoot his pit stall, this looks like a perfect pit entry for Cardoso.
Boy, and folks, if you think this is hard getting on pit road, if you think this is easy getting on pit road, trust me, it's not. You have to get the car woed down. You want to try to carry as much speed getting into pit road as possible without breaking the pit road limit, which I believe is 50 miles an hour. As we see Cardoso getting 4 fresh Goodyears, and a full tank of gas, and he should be on his way.
And you see him go a lap down there to Mark Waltz, who continues to lead ahead of Jake Nichols in second after being able to hold off Alex Bergeron for third. And then the driver, who I'm not giving enough shout-outs because I know I'm going to keep butchering his name, Eric Gaudreau Drapeau, running there in 4th position in that Ford Mustang. He's had a nice job up there so far, been running in the top 5 all race long.
Yeah, so far he's qualified 4th, and he's currently still in 4th, so he's having a nice top 5 run today. I got word, I'd have to be corrected on it, but I got word that the cars can do 56 laps on a tank of fuel, so these guys are for sure pitting a little early.
Yeah, we're being told by Doug Pickering on our YouTube channel that these cars can get about 56. And look at this wave of cars coming in the pits. Well, now this makes sense. If they can make 56 laps on fuel, as our YouTube commenter delightfully told us, they're pitting right at about lap 34, lap 35 here, and Bergeron almost loses it on pit entry, and the car behind him does. And number 97 there goes for a spin of Eric 3D. But he's able to get it recovered without making contact with the wall. So it'll be interesting seeing what kind of strategies are going on here, because Doug Pickering has also pointed out to us that we have there's 2 different strategies you can do. You can pit in the middle of a race and make it a one-stop strategy, which is what these cars are doing, or you can short pit like we saw some of the cars do earlier on in the race and make it a 2-stop strategy, but that might cost you a bit of time. But one way to lose a lot of time is what Eric 3D has done. Not only did he have a slide on pit entry, but he overshot his pit stall, and that has cost him a lot of time in that number 97 car.
Oh man, he backed up to his pit stall, and he must have got a notification that he was too far right in his pit stall, so he had to readjust his car in his pit box. So definitely cost him a lot of time. He was having such a great run in this race. He was having a solid top 5. He qualified 4th. Just a solid top 5 for Eric DG. Just a bad break.
And there we see a replay of that. Meanwhile, back on live action, we have Michael Tant and Cedric Hunter in the pits. Nathan Weatherby leads the field right around now. He hasn't pit. but I think he's going to have to soon because he is running, and he is coming in the pits this time by. He is running a second slower than everyone else, and he's able to get that number 25 car way down on the apron here on lap 38, as we're only 7 laps away from the halfway point.
Yeah, Nathan Weatherby is coming down pit road. I believe he's the only car coming down pit road at the moment. Malcolm Walker now takes the lead over Ray Partridge and Brian Barnes, Chris Beck, and Tal LaMountain, who have been in the back of the pack pretty much this entire race thus far. So it's very interesting to see what strategy these guys are playing.
Yeah, and these guys started in the middle of the field. Ray Partridge in the blue Northwest car started in 9th position, and Malcolm Walker started in 11th, so they're trying to turn up the strategy to gain a few positions here. And right now they are battling for the lead, and off goes Walker. Will this bring the caution out? It won't if he stays down there, but he has blown the engine. There's smoke pouring out the back of a number 27 car, and that is a very unfortunate end to the race there for Walker.
Yeah, I'm currently trying to look back at the replay here, Sam. I'm looking at it right now. Looks like it was a self-spin. Yeah, definitely a self-spin coming out of turn 4. Hit the inside wall really hard, and it was just enough impact to blow his engine. He is smoking drastically right now.
Yeah, we're watching the replay. I mean, I also think it was a bit at the angle he hit. The car barely took any cosmetic damage at all and kind of just sent a shockwave through the internal unit. Oh, he was travelling at a fair rate though as he hit that wall and goes over a little bump down the infield. Hope that's not there in real life anymore. That looks a bit dangerous. Don't think of this. Anyhow, we continue to approach the halfway point. Ray Partridge has came into the pits, as has Phil Cook and Kyle Young, and that puts Brian Barnes up into the top spot right now in the 4 car. And here this is Chris Beck driving second, and you can just see them getting passed by the drivers on the new tyres.
Oh yeah, tires are so key here at this racetrack. You gotta remember, this track opened up in 1995, and it was redone back in the early 2000s, I think 2002, 2003. And so this track has some age to it, so it is wearing down the tires. And keep in mind, iRacing did increase the tire wear on these cars in the last bill, I believe. I'd have to be corrected on that, but yeah, tires definitely do. They just mean a lot when it comes to oval racing.
We have had our first official retirement from the race. It's not Malcolm Walker, it's actually Jason Van Kleck, who have been running back in the last position, has retired. And it looks like there is at least one free repair available, or maybe not. Malcolm Walker was just taking tyres, but he's not rolling out of his pit stall, so I'm guessing the tow truck just got him to his pit stall, and now he's going to try and get some repairs if he can. Meanwhile, we're watching Eric 3D, who lost a lot of time doing that pit stop, and now we're watching Eric DG again there. We saw Chris Beck momentarily. He's trying to make up for that lost time, trying to pass, take 13th position there.
Boy, I'm looking up towards the front of the leaders. Brian Barnes, I don't know if he pitted yet, or he may have pitted a while ago, but he just lost the lead towards Chris Beck. Last time by, and Fernando Cardoso has gained on these guys.
Yeah,
okay.
These top 2 drivers have been losing now 3 seconds to Fernando Cardoso because of them being on old tyres, and that's Chris Beck and Brian Barnes there. However, they won't race each other too hard, I don't think, because they're both of the Northwest Division, and I think we'll see them come into the pits this time by. Beck is definitely coming in, and the reason that is because it's lap 45, it's right at the halfway point, so he gets to optimise how long he is on those tyres for. But it's will, I think, if we see Brian Barnes pit next time by, it will return Fernando Cardoso to the top running position that he had been in before the pit strategy began.
Boy, Fernando Cardoso, man, he is just gaining on the leader. He keeps gaining about 2/10 each lap on Carl Barnes. So if I was Carl, just get down pit road and take 4 fresh Goodyears, and I believe he's coming right now, maybe? Yes, he is.
Yep, Brian Barnes, the leader, is coming into the pits, and Fernando Cardoso actually takes the lead as he does that. Now that being said though, it'll be interesting seeing how their strategies play out for the rest of the race. As we enter the second half, still clean and green here, although we have had a bit of attrition. Malcolm Walker has yet to return to the track after his incident. Jason Van Kleck is also out of the race. So that really takes us back to 18 cars in contention. Jason was racing for New York and Malcolm was racing for Canada. However, those two clubs came in with 6 drivers, so they can afford, I believe it's top 5 drivers from each split who's... from each group in each split whose results count. So those two clubs can afford to lose one driver, but they can't afford to lose another one. And as the laps wind down here, I think we might see a bit more attrition as these drivers race each other a bit more aggressively.
Seeing a nice little battle between 3 cars here for second place. You got Jake Nichols, Mark Waltz, and Alex Berger. Mark Waltz actually was the race leader. He actually gained on Fernando Cardoso early in the race, but he has lost a couple positions on that last pit stop. But right now it's a nice battle for second place between these 3 cars.
It'll also be interesting seeing how many cars come into the pits to make one more pit stop before the end of this race, and those cars that do, how fast will they be on a set of a brand new set of tyres. Now, of course, if a caution came out right now, that would change everything. You'd pretty much see everyone down there on pit road. But meanwhile, due to the pace of Cardoso, he has begun putting cars a lap down. We have 14 cars left on the lead lap right now, and I have a feeling that number's going to get smaller as these laps wind down. But this battle for second rages on.
Oh yeah, it's definitely heated on. These guys are racing side by side. Mark Waltz, he has gotten that bottom line working before, and he's attempting to do it again. Right now, it looks like the draft is playing an effect between Jake Nichols and Alex Berger there.
Yeah, not a good exit out of turn 2 for Waltz, and he drops back into 4th position. And these were the same 3 drivers we saw running 2nd, 3rd and 4th really earlier on in the race behind Cardoso. And each of them wants to move up into that 2nd position in case Cardoso runs into problems later on, that they can be the one to take advantage. And these are all racing for different clubs. There's Bergeron gets very close to the wall right there, as does Nichols. Nichols for the Carolina, Bergeron for Canada, and Mark Waltz for the Northwest.
This little group back here behind those guys racing for second place is racing for position. Kyle Young, Phil Cook, and Brian Barnes, they are all racing for position. Even though they are a lap down, this is a race for the lucky dog here, Sam.
Yes, it is indeed. Kyle Young, 14th place, the first driver, 1 lap down. And he is racing for New York. Brian Barnes behind him is racing, and now in front of him. And now you see the advantage of the drivers who came into pit later. Yes, they were losing about 2 seconds a lap while they were out there on older tyres. Now they're actually going faster, and Brian Barnes won't have to pit for the rest of the race. And so it'll be interesting seeing, providing there's not a caution of course, it'll be interesting seeing how high he can go. He's now in the lucky dog position though if a caution did fly.
Yes, he is, Sam. He is in the lucky dog position right now, but so that's only if a caution comes out. But right now, he is gaining on the cars in front of him there. That is racing for second place. Yeah, definitely an interesting call by these guys that pitted late, but still, in my opinion, I think tires are definitely going to be key.
And now, if a caution did come out, the leader of this pack, Brian Barnes, would get the lucky dog, but that might not be the case for much longer because Fernando Cardoso is catching up with a battle for 12th, going on between Tao LaMountain, who's now in front of Michael Tent. They are from, let's see, Michael Tant is from Carolina and Tao LaMountain is from New York, so 2 different clubs. It'll be a couple of laps before Cardoso catches up with them, but if he does, that could certainly change the strategy for these drivers. And you were talking about Brian Barnes running that pack for second down. He is currently making his way through that pack. He has gone by Alex Bergeron and Mark Waltz, and into the wall behind him goes Kyle Young. Kyle Young just got a big piece of the wall coming off of turn 2. He's still going in the straight line. and the number 93 car doesn't seem to have too much damage.
No, I'm not seeing a significant damage. I mean, you can see damage there, but although it's not slowing his speeds down at all, I mean, he's still holding on to the guy in front of him who does not have damage at all, from my point of view. But just maybe a little kiss, but hopefully he can stay out of the wall and keep that car as clean as possible from now on till the end.
Yeah, and you see he's still able to keep up with that pack despite getting a pretty good blow on the wall there coming out of turn 2, I thought, but he's still up there, still up to speed. And Brian Barnes has now made his way through that pack for second and is trying to run Fernando Cardoso down to get back on the lead lap. And meanwhile, Malcolm Walker hasn't given up after blowing his engine early in the race. That number 27 car is finally rolling its way back out onto the racetrack.
Yeah, they may have put a new engine in that number 27 car of Malcolm Walker right there, so hopefully he can get back out there, turn some more laps on the racetrack to get the best finish you can out of it. But meanwhile, I have been keeping an eye on lap times here, and Fernando Cardoso has been losing time to Jake Nichols, Alex Berger, and Mark Waltz. About maybe 6 laps ago, it was to a 5.8. It is now down to a 4.9, 4.7, counting down as we speak.
You got to have a feeling that tyres are probably playing into that a little bit, considering the fact that Cardoso seemed to have a dominant car in the first half of the race, and also, like you say, the rate of speed at which Nichols and Waltz have been running him down. Not quite half a second a lap, but not far from it. However, at that rate, it'd still be about 10 laps or so before they caught him. And honestly, in 10 laps or so, it'll be 20 to go. And I think Malcolm Walker has run into more troubles. He is currently mowing the lawn down the backstretch, but seems to have control of the car.
Yeah, more troubles for Malcolm Walker, man. This day, he's probably thinking this day can't be any worse, but right now he's just stopped. He might actually he just towed it to his pit stall.
Great job by the crew to get back out on track. Unfortunately, the car's still not handling too great. Now, remember, Chris Beck also came in at the halfway point. He's following his Northwest Club teammate, Brian Barnes, in trying to get around this pack for second place. He has gone by Mark Waltz in third and Alex Bergeron in fourth, and now trying to run down Drake Nichols for second. Once again, this isn't for position, but as he's done that, that has actually caused Waltz and Bergeron to mix it up there for third, but temporarily Waltz remains in front.
Yeah, he does, and these lap cars are spoiling the party just a little bit on these lead lap cars. They have been gaining on the leader, but Chris Beck is currently not the lucky dog position. Brian Barnes is, who just passed Seth Whitaker at Chris Whitaker.
Yeah, so that will put Chris Beck in the lucky dog position now. And Seth Whitaker's in the pits, and now Cole Burke is coming in the pits too.
Strategy is playing right now here, Sam. I'm telling you, we'll have to see what happens. Pitting early may gain the advantage.
Yeah, but some of these drivers won't have to pit against. These drivers are really dependent on their tyres being several seconds faster than the drivers who are doing the one-stop strategy at the end of the race. Meanwhile, I think we just saw a bit of bump drafting almost going on down there on the front stretch. And Bergeron has overshot turns 1 and 2 and gets in the wall. And that's going to cost him a lot of time to waltz.
Yeah, that is. It's kind of like driving through your pit stall. It costs you a lot of time, you know. It's just unfortunate situations, but you just got to keep going and get the best finish you can out of it.
Has Karlberg just disconnected from the race? No, he was just not appearing on my computer, so a bit of connection issues there, but he's back in the race.
Scared me there, Sam. But I'm currently watching Mark Waltz. He did get really loose coming off turn number 4. I think these tires are really starting to play a factor at the moment.
Absolutely, 29 laps left to go. There we are, 28 laps left to go. It says on the screen, maybe I should just use that. Here we are, Mark Waltz gets a good round on Jake Nichols here. Going to look for second position as they go into turns 1 and 2. Not going to happen yet. Now remember, I believe it was these two drivers who were running side by side for about 5 laps on end earlier on in the race without any of them losing any time at all.
man, Brian Barnes, he's back on the lead lap. I believe he did pass the leader at the right now, so he is back on the lead lap. Right now, the current Lucky Dog car that's in position right now is Chris Beck, and he has gained on the leader himself. So, man, definitely tires are just a key factor at this racetrack right now. And there's a caution.
That'll change everything. And it is for Alex Bergeron, one of the drivers running in the top 3 all race long. It doesn't look like he has a lot of damage, but he has had a moment down the front stretch, and that will bring out our first caution of this race.
I just seen the replay on this here, Sam. I'm sure we'll bring it up here in a little bit, but yeah, he looks like he tried avoiding the car ahead of him that got into the wall, and the car just snapped loose.
And that's Kyle Young in the 93 car who gets in the wall. You'll see it here. Young's in the wall, so Bergeron tries to turn it down. Oh, there may have actually been contact there. And as he does that, he loses control of the car. The car's behind him, able to avoid each other somehow. Unfortunately, it turns out to just be a single car spin. A couple of cars probably look a little bit different, and some people's insurance rates may go up. But I have a feeling that no matter what your strategy is here, unless you're a lap down, you're probably going to want to come into the pits. And pits are open this time around. And it looks like all of our lead lap cars are coming in. Now, the lap down cars won't be able to come into the pits this time around. But every lead lap car is coming into the pit road under this caution.
Boy, to make a comment on that last incident that brought out this caution, man, I tip my hat to those 4 cars for not hitting each other, to be very cautious about it. That's just very unfortunate for Alex there, but it looked like he wasn't really prepared for Kyle to be in the wall right there. But I tip my hat to all of them for not avoiding to make it a bigger incident than what it already was.
Well, all these drivers that used the one-stop strategy are going to be advantaged, and I think Drake Nichols may have overshot his pit stall in the 73 there, because the drivers who made 2 stops are the ones that all got caught a lap down, and even though they would have had newer tyres at the end of a race as Cardoso wins the race off of pit road, they would have they weren't able to use those newer tyres because the caution flew. And meanwhile, despite spinning to bring out the caution, Bergeron has only fallen back to about 5th or 6th position. One lead lap car did stay out, and that is Michael Tant. So I'll note he's coming into the pits this time around. So all of our lead lap cars at the least have pit. I have a feeling we'll see all of the lap down cars stay out so they can get the wave around.
Yeah, Sam, I'm going to have to see when the cars come back around to hit the start-finish line to reset the order here. But, yeah, it looks like Alex, I don't think he has heavy damage on that car. So maybe he can get a good top 5 finish, or maybe he can compete with the leader. We'll have to find out.
Yeah, Cardoso has came back into the pits. Not entirely sure what this is about. Because he was just in the pits a lap ago, and this is very unfortunate for the driver, who have been really dominating the race up until this point. I'm wondering if he has a penalty, or maybe tyres are so much he's thinking, hey, I'll take 4 more Goodyear tyres with 1 newer lap on them. No, he is taking tyres, so even if it is a penalty, he's going to try and take advantage of it. But it will be very interesting to see in the closing laps of this race how far Cardoso can work his way back up through the field.
It may be a penalty. He took tires, but he's still sitting in his pit stall at the moment here, Sam. I don't know what is going on, but man, that just changes the whole game.
Absolutely, there he rolls out. That means Mark Waltz will lead the field back to the green with Drake Nichols in 2nd, Drew Lalonde in 3rd. Not entirely sure how he got his way up there. Bergeron in 4th despite spinning to bring out this caution, and Weatherby in 5th place. And then let's go back and round out the top 10 actually. Ray Partridge will be restarting in 6th, and Cedric Hunter in 7th. 8th place will be Towler Mountain. And then behind him should be Brian Barnes and Michael Tant, who just came into the pits the last time around. And the pace car lights have gone off as the lap down cars take their wave around. So we will restart this race with 21 laps to go. We did about the first 65 laps there, Tanner, without a caution. I have a feeling, though, this isn't going to be the only one.
It may not, but we'll see. I think we are getting down to crunch time. I don't think these guys are going to come down pit road anymore. So what you have right now is what you have. So just try to get every position you can and just hope for the best.
It looks like Fernando Cardoso has fallen back to about 13th position. I think that's him catching up with the back of a pack right there as they come towards turns 3 and 4 for the restart, and Cardoso will have to try and get on it early because iRacing does not have green-white checkered. So if we have a caution with 4, sometimes even 5 laps left to go, that would end it. So we could be looking at around a 15-16 lap shootout here. Or at least that's what Cardoso has got a plan for. If he wants to win this race, he has got to make his way through the field. And the pace car is off, and Waltz is on the loud pedal, and he will lead them back to the restart here on lap 69. Nichols quickly dives back behind him in second position. Drew Lalonde is on the inside, and Alex Bergeron is on the outside, battling for third through turns 1 and 2.
Boy, Ray Barger was caught sleeping on that restart. That from probably 4th place on back just did not go whatsoever. So right now it's crack time, man. We got 20 laps to go. It's time to get up to the front and try to challenge for that win.
Oh, and Cardoso, pitting under caution, did not clear whatever penalty he has. He has to come back in and serve it under green and almost loses control of the car under entry. So Cardoso, after dominating the race, a bad, I'm guessing he sped on pit road or something under the caution flag, and that has cost him his chance to win, and that is a loss there for the Canada club. The top Canada driver right now is Alex Bergeron, who is in 3rd place.
Yeah, that spin out right there, or any damage he had, is not affecting him whatsoever. He is on the move right now here, Sam.
Mark Waltz and Jake Nichols. I apologise if I say Jack Nichols. I was watching the Formula E broadcast last night. Jake Nichols running in second position. Those two are 4 earlier on. Right now, Waltz is pulling away from them, which we can't be too surprised by. He definitely had a faster car earlier on in the race. Bergeron trying to find his way around Nichols. It's not happening yet. And almost in the wall in 6th place was Weatherby. But he is able to avoid it in the number 25 car, and he just fell out of the top 5. Cedric Hunter took that position from him.
Huge battle. Bergeron's going for 2nd place here, Sam.
Yeah, and he's got it. So we had the battle for 2nd and the battle for 5th going on at exactly the same time there. 17 laps to go when they come across to the line. So what lap times can Bergeron run on this circuit now that he has, well, he doesn't exactly have clean air because he has Waltz in front of him, but he has cleaner air. We'll find out in about 30 seconds what their lap times are like next time by. And even if Waltz is faster, the race might not be over. Maybe Waltz is burning off his tyres a little bit here by pulling out such a great lead. But I'm sure he's not too concerned about that. He wants that yellow car to dissolve in his rearview mirror.
Yeah, Alex Bergeron, man, he is just pressuring the leader. We're going to have to see this time by at the start-finish line to see what the lap times are, to see if he gained, and he did gain. He gained a 10th on the leader. So he is moving, man.
Let's give a shout out to Cedric Hunter too. He's been running in about 10th place all race long. He just took 4th from Drew Lalonde, who got quite high in turns 3 and 4. In fact, Lalonde's losing a couple positions here. That's Fernando Cardoso, a lap down car looking underneath him. So Lalonde falls back, but Hunter is coming forward. But yeah, let's return to this battle up front because Bergeron is running Waltz down, and so it might not be Waltz who has the old worn-out tyres at the end of his stint.
Yeah, he gained another 10th there, Sam. So he is moving, inching closer towards the lead. So it's definitely, we're definitely set up for maybe a photo finish here, Sam, here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Cardoso is currently 1 lap down, the first car lap down, so if a caution comes out, he will get the lucky dog and be back into play.
Bergeron, I thought he'd overshot turns 3 and 4 there, but he hadn't. He was actually able to hold it and gain ground on Waltz. I don't know if it'll be a photo finish if Bergeron's able to keep up the pace that he's going at right now, because he has been running Waltz down. Now, catching is one thing, passing is another. I think he's laid the bumper to him down the backstretch right there. And that keeps Waltz out in front temporarily. But photo finishes are definitely a possibility at Homestead-Miami. These multiple groups means we have seen it in the past. Bergeron, though, still unable to do anything. Oh, here he goes.
Almost contact between the leaders there. I was gonna mention that Waltz gets a better corner entry, but Bergeron, man, he just gets a better run off as he takes the lead.
And it's so Bergeron, it's so deceiving. He's throwing that car into the entry so fast, and I keep thinking, how is he ever going to make that stick? He's going to lose all his speed on the exit, but he doesn't. He is able to find some magic grip out there in that number 112 car. I'd like to know what setup he's got under that hood, or maybe he's just that good of a driver, because he has taken the lead from Waltz and pulling away. But now the question is, will he wear his tyres out? Because remember, Waltz fell back at the start of a race and then rallied his way back up to the front. Maybe Waltz has a better long-run car.
I thought Waltz had a long-run car. I remember he fell back to, I think, 5th position, and he was gaining on the leader before the leader even pitted, which was Cardoso at the time. So right now, we'll have to see. We're coming down to, we're 11 laps to go this time by. So next time by, 10 laps to go. Anything can happen. But right now, something's telling me that Berger is kind of burning off some tires a little bit.
Cardoso, meanwhile, is the third car in line right there. He's a lap down, though. He's 16th overall. Let's run through the top 10 for you, but not the drivers' names. Let's talk about the clubs. It is Canada, Northwest, Carolina, Canada, Northwest in the top 5. The first New York driver is in 6th place, and then it is Northwest, Carolina, New York, and Northwest, rounding out the top 10.
And good performance by the Northwest boys tonight here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. They are just, they're on it, man. They have this one circled on their calendar for sure, and they are up there battling for the lead.
Yes, there could be another position coming for the Northwest here, because Northwest Bergeron is representing Canada, and so now that'll be interesting. Cardoso behind him on the newer tyres and the faster car. Battle up on Bergeron. Waltz is from the Northwest. Bergeron is representing Canada. And so now that'll be interesting. Cardoso behind him on the newer tyres and the faster car. Battle up down is also representing Canada. So will he give Mark Waltz a hard time if he's able to catch him? It remains to be seen. We're at 8.5 laps left to go now. A caution with 5 or 4 to go could end it. So, Waltz can't really afford to stay behind Bergeron for that much longer.
I have also noticed Bergeron has not pulled away from Waltz, so right now they are both pretty even cars. Looks like Waltz got to the back bumper a couple times to Bergeron there, but man, these two cars are just digging. I just hope that
Nichols still holding down 3rd place, and he is representing the Carolina club, only one of 2 cars here. And unfortunately, I don't think Carolina has much road course.
It also doesn't spoil the party for these two, but yeah, he does seem like he has a faster car than these two.
And if these two get involved in anything, it's Drake Nichols still holding down 3rd place, and he is representing the Carolina club, only one of 2 cars here. And unfortunately, I don't think Carolina has much road course racing fans as they are oval racing fans. So they might not be advancing, but we'll wait and see. Mark Waltz is now being challenged by Cardoso, and Waltz throws the block on him and pushes Cardoso off. And wow, this could get interesting in the closing laps.
Oh man, you do not want that to happen with about 6 laps to go in the race there, Sam. But it looks like it didn't really affect Waltz, man. He just got back to the back bumper of Berger off of turn 2 and battled for the lead, trying to challenge him on the outside lane.
Yeah, these Northwest cars all seem to have good long run setups, because Drew Lalonde just took 4th place back from Hunter there, further back in the field. And here comes the Northwest car of Waltz looking for the lead again with just 5.5 laps left to go when they exit this turn. Waltz drives it in deep. That's what Bergeron was doing earlier. That was his specialty. But this time Bergeron is the one who gets the better exit of the turn, and he maintains the lead. Now Cardoso has came back into this. I wonder what he's going to think of Waltz's move a couple of laps ago.
Oh man, I don't know. The radio's been quiet, so nothing's been said about it. But Waltz looks like he has a better, and looks like, give him a little shove there, but no, it looks like the 18 of Waltz is a better on the long run, or I shouldn't say that, but better on the bottom lane. He has worked it before.
Kyle Young just went a lap down there. He's in 15th and has damage. And this seems strange watching Cardoso giving Waltz a bit of a bump, helping out a driver that's competing against one of his group mates. I guess is the term I should use to describe him right now. 4 laps left to go. And Cardoso hits the wall down the front stretch. That costs him a bit of time, and it means that these two leaders are able to battle it out amongst themselves again.
4 laps to go, Sam, and took a little bumper to the number 112 car of Alex Berger, man. Getting busy here, Sam.
Yeah, bump drafting doesn't work in the Apex, and I'm sure Waltz is all too aware of that. Bergeron backs off on entry so he can try and get a better exit. He's not able to do it here, so Waltz is now leading the race, but Bergeron has done an amazing job at throwing it into the entry of the corners. Let's see if he's able to use that to his advantage. Now, of course, you shouldn't have to worry about Cardoso getting in Bergeron's rear bumper too much, because they're both from Canada.
3 more laps to go here, Sam, and this race, in my opinion, is not over. Berger's just looking at every door, any way he can to get by the number 18 of Mark Waltz there. He is just, oh man, these guys are just so evenly, and wow, it's just been a great race.
I don't understand why Bergeron gave a position up a few laps ago. I know he was trying to pull a crossover, but really, he had done such a great job at holding Waltz off that kind of giving the top position back to Waltz, I think, may have cost him the victory here. And it looks like a Northwest club may be finishing in 1st, 4th, 5th, 8th, and 12th positions, and that would be a good race here for the Northwest, because Bergeron is losing time to Waltz as the white flag is in the air.
White flag is out, and it's not helping Berger with another car on his rear bumper right there, but he's just doing everything he can. But what I think really happened was I think Waltz may have tapped the bumper a little bit, but didn't reckon, kind of moved him out of the way, kind of take away his momentum coming off that corner, and that's how maybe he got that advantage. And Waltz has worked the bottom of the racetrack and made it work before in this race.
A bit of a wad of traffic on the front stretch last time around, but they were able to keep it straight. Mark Waltz is going to take a win here for the Northwest in the Group D Oval 2015 World Cup of iRacing race. Drake Nichols is 3rd behind Bergeron. In 4th place is Lalonde. In 5th place is Barnes. Hunter is 6th. Partridge is 7th. Tant is 8th. The Mountain is in 9th place. And Eric GD is in 10th. The driver who lost out in that WOD at the white flag was Nathan Weatherby. He had been running up there in the top 10 and got in the wall coming out of turn 4, and he will have to settle for an 11th place finish. But congratulations to our winner here today, Mark Waltz. He definitely had one of the faster cars out there, didn't make any mistakes. He started in 2nd. He's going to burn it down on the front stretch here, and we will have some driver interviews and a full race rundown when we return after these messages. Hello and welcome back to Homestead-Miami Speedway, where the Group D oval race is now complete and they are getting set up for the road course race at Suzuka Circuit in the DW12. So let's run through the order quickly and have a couple drive interviews here. Mark Waltz came away the victor by less than 1 second over Alex Bergeron. Jake Nichols rounded out the top 3 with Drew Lalonde and Brian Barnes rounding out the top 5. Cedric Hunter, after starting 13th, brought the number 13 home in 6th place. Ray Partridge there in 7th position ahead of Michael Tant in 8th. Tyler Mountain there in 9th position after starting at the back of the field. And then Eric GD fell back to 10th position at the checkered flag there, Tanner.
Nathan Weatherby started in the 6th position tonight. Unfortunately, he fell back to the 11th position. Chris Beck finishes the 12th position, started 12th position. Seth Whitaker finishes in the 13th position. Jacob Klein, 14th. Fernando Cardoso, who pretty much dominated this race, started on the pole, and he ends up being 15th, 1 lap down. Kyle Young finishes in 16th. Kyle Burke finishes 17th. Phil Cook finishes 18th. Malcolm Walker finishes 19th. And rounding out in the rear of the field is Jason Van Cleek, rounding out in 20th position.
Well, it did look in the early stages that Fernando Cardoso would take a win, but that wasn't to be the case. Mark Waltz had a fast car as well, and eventually he made the fewest mistakes and had a great long-run car. And congratulations, Mark, on your win here today at Homestead-Miami.
Yeah, thank you. Man, that was one heck of a race. We kind of prepared for a long run. We knew it was going to be green, so we set this thing up so it wasn't as fast, the first 15, but man, after we got after 20 laps, it was just a rocket ship. I knew that I could chase down that 47 and we would have definitely had a shot, and didn't want to see the caution, but it still worked out in our favor.
There was a moment with about 8 laps to go where it looked like there was contact between you and the lapped car of Fernando Cardoso, who is from Canada, as is Alex Bergeron, the driver you were racing for the win. Do you think they were playing some team tactics on you there?
I'm not going to point fingers, but when it comes to that team racing, they'll probably do whatever they can to get up there, and I didn't have any of my guys around me, so I had to do what I had to do, kind of run defensive against him, so give me a shot at the lead. We're racing as a club for points, and that whole team effort comes into play, so I knew I was going to have to get hard with it.
Now, Mark, are you going to be in the road course race as well? And if so, how would you rate yourself at road courses?
Now, for me, I'm strictly an oval guy. I don't do anything on the road side. We got a good group of road drivers that should represent us pretty well. I stick to oval, and it sure shows it. We got some good finishes out of this thing.
Absolutely. The Northwest Club, I believe, had 4 cars there in the top 10 at the end of the race. I may need to be corrected on that. Well done, Mark. You did the best job you could have done, and we'll let you go celebrate. Anything else you'd like to say before we let you do that?
Yeah, I just want to give thanks to Dog Bear Racing. We've been working our tails off trying to get this thing right, knowing that we were going to come in this thing as kind of an underdog, but at the same time, looking good on a long run. I got to thank the sponsors. Got to thank Sarge's Place, Tyee Kennels. They got on board with us at the beginning, and we've been giving them a good showing. I'm sure they're out watching us right now.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations once again, Mark, and we wish the best for your Northwest Club. I know Tanner does. He's from the Northwest too.
Thank you.
All right, but Tanner, you have called up with the driver who placed second in the race, and that is Alex Bergeron.
I have, Sam, and Alex, man, you almost won it with a few laps to go, but unfortunately you settled for second place. I'm not sure if you put the bumper to you or you just kind of let them by, but either way, it's a strong finish for Canada, second place tonight. Tell me how your race went from the start of the race till now.
The race was cool. But it was also a tough race because of the tire. After like 30 laps or 40 laps, the tire were very done. So I hope this will go as this at the end, and this is what happened. But I think I did too hard at the end, and I get past. But it was a good battle, and Team Canada did a great job tonight. So pretty happy with the second place.
Absolutely, there, Alex. And you got caught up into an incident about 20 laps to go into the race. But you made a charge towards the front. You were like one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. Was there anything you made change to your setup, or you just throw 4 fresh tires and because you knew you had a great car?
Yeah, I get surprised just after the incidents. I get surprised that I get in the 6th place, I think, and I did my pit stop like usual and take 4th tire, and I get up on track, get in 4th place, and then I said, "Let's go! I'm going forward for this," and this is what I did and finished 2nd. So.
Okay. Do you have a favorite chocolate milk?
Yeah, apparently Nesquik, yes, but yeah.
It's a good looking paint scheme in my opinion, but we were watching you all night. It was a great run by you. I was totally surprised, even after being involved into an incident there on the racetrack, that you just drove that car up towards the front. That was just an amazing run in my opinion.
Yeah, I get a great battle with Mark at the end. When I passed him, I thought that I'm gonna go forward, but then you just catch me up, but it was a great battle to him also. So great job for him.
All right, thank you, Alex, for coming to talk to us in this post race. That's Alex Bergeron there, Sam, who finished 2nd place for Canada.
Absolutely. Canada had a good showing, as did Carolina, with 1 car in the top 5. However, I think in this top split, at the least, Northwest were the real winners with the overall victory and 3 of the top 5 positions. There was also a second split going on at the same time too, though, and that could have mixed up the points a little bit. We have got confirmation that the Group 3 winner was Finland, and that Scandinavia is still sitting in the wild bird seat, or the catbird seat, I guess is the correct term there. The Group A winners, as a reminder, were UK and Ireland, and the Group B winners were Deutschland, Austria, and Czechoslovakia. So, congratulations to those, and we will see how the final in the World Cup plays out in a week or two, I believe. But we do have the road race coming up, so let's get this wrapped up here. And we would like to thank some people before we do that, including the organisers and the competitors from the World Cup for coming here today and putting on a great show. We would also like to thank the makers of the various software and hardware that help make this stream possible: iRacing.com, Behringer, XSplit, Audio Technica, and AverMedia. Thanks to the team today: Tanner Sharp, Giancarlo Lenzi, and our camera guru, Dougie Beard. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, you can find it at www.globalsimracingchannel.com, along with archived races and upcoming broadcasts. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel. We would like to send out a special thank you also to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde, who provide us with much of our music. You can buy Eric's on iTunes and Spotify, and Casey's at caseylalonde.bandcamp.com. We have all of our upcoming races for our other series on screen, so be sure to check those out and mark them down in your calendar, and be sure not to miss another second of exciting racing action. And like we say, we have the Group D Road Course World Cup of iRacing race coming up soon in the DW12s at Suzuka. So until then, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.